it's Nicole, and welcome back to Rent Ready Radio. Today we're talking about leasing strategies, and we have with us Sean Donahue. Sean is the Director of Operations for our Laurel, DC office. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
No problem. It's good to see you again. Just briefly, your start with BMG, where you started, and the journey in between.
Absolutely. So, I went to College Park, and I did this right out of college. So I graduated College Park. I did architecture and real estate development, and I had a passion towards the real estate sector. So I was like, okay, I'm looking into fields that are in terms of real estate. And I always had done some sales type stuff. So it's like, let's bridge those areas together. So started with BMG as a leasing agent in the upper office.
And you were a natural star in the leasing position, rose to fame in your first year.
Appreciate it. I had great mentors and great teachers to help me out there. But I did that for a year in the Baltimore office and got an opportunity to go to our Laurel, DC office, help with do business development. Did that for a few years, helped with some other offices. Past, year and a half now. So January of 2025, I've been office head. So the director of operations for our DC and Laurel-based office. So been a fun ride.
Very different positions along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of going up and up in terms of responsibilities, and now running a full team of. We've got about 50 people on our team, as opposed to leasing where you're a one-man gang, do what you need to do.
Do you miss leasing at all?
No, not really, honestly. I've liked every new challenge that's kind of come up along the way. It's been fun to kind of get the new opportunities.
I miss leasing sometimes.
Yeah. I'm still so involved with it too, especially with working with our new director of leasing, and the leasing agents. I'll usually help to train them for the first few days. So I'm still very involved with it, and certainly with the leasing agents, being like, oh, I used to do this.
But you have a real hands-on field experience that you can share with your leasing
Absolutely.
agents.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, listen,
this is very valuable.
Just easy things, the kind of tricks of the trade. Do this because this will make sure that you can optimize your time and maximize your efficiency and make sure that you are not missing things. It's a lot of just organization.
Efficiency and organization are the keys to success in the leasing position.
Absolutely. There's so much going on with it. It's a 24/7 around the clock thing, but we luckily have all the tools we have that makes it easy to keep track of these things. And then what you can do on your own end of, okay, if I'm showing properties in Ellicott City and DC, well, I'm not going to go Ellicott City, DC, DC 5 times in one day. Let me do Ellicott City in the morning and DC in the afternoon. Don't waste your time and your mileage. And
I have a friend who is actually working in the Baltimore office as a leasing agent right now. And she's a real estate agent as well. And when she first started, she was like, oh my God, it's never ending. I've got a showing here and I'm like, whoa, hold up. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, right.
You need to bulk respond to your leads until you get them hooked.
Yep.
Once they start engaging, then you give them that one-on-one. But until they're engaging with you and responding back, you've got to, do your bulk outreach. I said, and as far as showings, if you're going to be at 102 East Avenue on Tuesday at 2:00, you let everybody who's interested in that property know that you're going to be at 102 East Avenue at 2:00.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to kind of bulk your showings and say, I'm in Canton today, and I'll do showings around Canton.
Right.
But I'm going to let everybody know where I'm going to be at what time, who might be interested in those properties. And you can't jump to every appointment request.
Yeah.
Because you'll be spinning your heels. And I said, and also, if they don't confirm, don't go.
Yeah.
Because they're not showing up.
Yeah.
If they can't hit a button on their text to say, yes, I'm coming, they're not coming.
Yep. I always would kind of confirm myself, hey, an hour before, oh, wait, didn't see you confirm yet. Just making sure you're going to be there. They didn't say, they're not going.
I'm not going.
And there'll be every once in a while where it'll be like, hey, I showed up. I'm like, I asked you 3 times.
I asked you 3 times. I asked you to confirm, I can't, drive around town.
Yeah.
So we know how you got your start in leasing in the Baltimore office as a leasing agent. Rose to be our star of the Baltimore office in your first year. Was the reality of that job what you expected?
I'd say, yeah. I guess getting into it, truly didn't know exactly what it was going to be. I'd done different sales-based roles before. Then I did door-to-door roofing in college and all that. A lot of those.
That's the key. Yeah. That's what Patrick did. He worked for Home Fix to kind of learn the sales.
Right. Oh, this was a lot easier than that. That's for sure. Door to door, up to someone like, hey, your roof sucks. And you got this, and that, and this is why you need roofing. That's difficult because most people are like, don't even want to talk to you. They have the signs. With leasing, there it's all warm leads, right? Everyone wants homes, everyone needs assistance with it. And as long as you're responsive and reliable and can help them with that, then it's, that's easy. So
and for leasing agents at BMG, we really provide those leads.
for sure.
It's not like you're a real estate agent and you're going out and you're looking for homes to list or you're looking for buyer clients to represent. We're giving you the homes to list.
Exactly.
The leads are coming in because that's just what happens naturally. And it's all about follow-up and organization.
I looked lightly into doing potentially kind of the sales side of it before getting into this. Obviously, get out of college and you do all these different resume here, resume there. Let's apply everywhere. And that's the thing that I've kind of noticed, and the thing that I appreciated about being the leasing agent role versus those sales-based roles is like you really have to build yourself, right? Your friends and your family can only take you so far with that. You really got to build your brand. Yeah, with us, here's your 10, 12 properties, and you can rent them. And you just rented those 5? Okay, cool, 5 more.
Here's 5 more.
You keep on going, keep on going. And we've got another portfolio of 60 or 70 you can lease to that aren't necessarily yours, but you can rent those as well. Biggest thing is you get 5 approved applicants in one of your places. They all like this 3-bedroom in Canton. Okay, we've got other 3 bedrooms in Canton. We can put you here, 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 and there. And then you've got 5 properties you rented really quickly just because you were doing your follow-up and kind of building those connections with those people.
And would you say that was what made you the star of the leasing team was your ability to say, hey, I know you wanted this one, but I have this one too.
Absolutely. You treated, those people who are approved and qualified like gold. Kind of keep a folder on my computer of my approved applicants. So eventually when something comes up, oh, hey, Joe, hey, Jane, I got this one that just came aboard. Are you guys still looking? Perfect. You can move in right away. Let's get you all signed up and set up.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just take advantage of the opportunities you've got there.
Of course. Okay. What is the most important role for a leasing agent and why? That key task that they have to do to be successful.
Oh, it's the follow-up and the communication, 100%. If someone texts me, I'm going to text them back right away if I have the ability to. Whenever someone's looking for a property, it's a stressful process. It's something that they're very unsure of. That's why they want to go to different properties and go to sometimes to realtors and other leasing agents to find them a property. So if I'm being very responsive with them and be like, hey, I'm giving it to you straight, I'm letting you know what's going on, being very communicative with them and just really being an asset to them, they're going to feel very comfortable at working with me, whether it be with the property that I have on the market or maybe another property that I can show them. So the biggest issues that we'll sometimes have is when someone's like, hey, I keep on asking this person for a tour and they won't respond to me. It's like, oh, come on now, just respond to them.
Respond.
Yeah, so you got to be responsive.
Response time's pretty important. And I think that goes for all positions in our company.
Absolutely.
Too. Keeping those lines of communication open every step of the way. Okay. What has been the most valuable lesson that you've learned about the rental industry?
Sometimes you really can't beat some factors that are just going to always rent these properties at the end of the day, price being a big part of it.
Right.
You have a lot of owners where they have such connection to their property, right? I lived in this property for years and years. This is my parents' property. I grew up here and it should rent for this because of this. At the end of the day, in the internet age that we are, people are going to look at a filter, right? People are going to be like, hey, I want to rent the property for $3,000 and under with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms in this area. Your property could be the most beautiful property ever, but if everything else is $3,000, yours is at $3,100, people aren't going to even see it.
Filter you out.
Yeah, or you have a dog and you don't accept dogs. Could be property for me, but I don't even see it. So you just really have to be, mindful of what the comparables are in the area and really have to be mindful of what the market shows and just kind of separate yourself from the property. Hey, this is what my property is, for good or for bad.
Emotional detachment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That brings us into the impacts of poor strategy when leasing.
Sure.
What are the biggest mistakes landlords make when trying to attract tenants?
They'll look towards these small little areas and not really the big key factors maybe if I put some curtains up or, hey, maybe if I do this or do that, these little small things where it really doesn't mean much. The big things we're going to look at is price. Obviously, they're going to look at your property from the standpoint of how much square footage does it have, bedrooms or bathrooms. Some of this you can control. Pricing, you can't control how many bedrooms or bathrooms it has, but you can do small upgrades to your property that can still really help that curb appeal. Maybe your kitchen's a little dated and you take some time to do a large scale renovation with the kitchen, or maybe small scale, let's paint the cabinets, let's put down some new countertops. Same with bathrooms. Most often people are going to look at the price and then they're going to look at, okay, how's the kitchen look? How's the bedrooms look, the bathrooms look. A little bit of fresh paint too, going
Fresh paint goes a long way.
Yeah, from a
It
neutral
makes the property
scheme.
look and feel clean.
Exactly. You want to do those little curb appeal things. People aren't going to care that you have, curtains in your property, right?
And we're talking about pricing. How important is pricing strategy compared to marketing when it comes to attracting applicants?
I think pricing strategy is the key. It's going to be a matter of what is the property going to be priced at and how comparable is it and how competitive is it on the market. Only a very few properties can really come above the market. And usually that's for a good reason, right? Like, oh, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property, but it has these wonderful upgrades, these wonderful fixtures that really puts it above and beyond. Most properties are very similar, so you want to make sure that you're competitive with it. If everything else is around 3,000, okay, maybe let's go 2,999, right?
Right.
Let's go a little bit below
I'm always
them.
about ending in the 99s.
Exactly.
So when they put that filter on, you're just below it, and you're always going to get caught.
Right, exactly. If they're looking at 5 different properties, your properties will price a little bit less. Okay, you're probably going to be able to win at the end of the day.
Oh, all right. What small upgrades and changes tend to have the biggest impact on marketing appeal?
Maybe putting in some new knobs and new fixtures.
You don't have to renovate
things.
the whole bathroom,
No.
but you can change out the mirror, put an updated light fixture, your faucets, and it makes such a huge impact in that small room.
Yeah, it'll be a few $100s. It goes a long way.
I always found a nice neutral paint color.
Yeah, for sure.
It goes a long way.
Absolutely.
It's hard for people to envision themselves living in a home that is very custom to the previous tenant or the owner in terms of styles and colors and things like that. Yeah. Neutral goes a long way.
A lot of us think we have great style, and turns out we unfortunately don't.
Exactly.
There's very few people who can really do the color well.
Yes. And if I'm a tenant coming into a property and you have your room painted teal, but it doesn't go with my furniture, I'm not buying new furniture.
Oh my God.
So neutral. Keep it neutral, people. In a tight or competitive market, what should landlords be doing differently to stand out?
You can only go so far with the price. You want to do those things that is going to help your curb appeal. A big part of that too is working with someone who markets your property well, that you're posting all these properties and you're taking advantage of different tools to be able to market the property. And what I mean by that too is having someone who is good at representing you from the leasing side of things.
Correct.
There's been so many times, I can speak from experience, times where I love this property and my wife and I wanted to rent it and the leasing agent's not responding to me. Or, okay, we saw it. Cool. I'm just waiting for the application. I haven't gotten it for a week, so I'm moving on.
You're moving on. That sets the tone for the whole experience with that property manager. If the leasing experience doesn't go well, odds are you might not have a great experience while you're a tenant.
Right. Whether you're using AI or whether you're using the leasing agents, making sure people can have those quick responses and that quick communication to feel like, okay, I'm wanted and I can move forward on this quickly. If I can just go online, okay, I'll put in your application and I'll submit and hopefully be approved, as opposed to, man, I got to pick up a phone and talk to this guy or girl about it.
It's so important to communicate with people the way they're telling you by their method of outreach how they want to be communicated with. So if they're calling you, call them back. If they're texting you, text them back.
Absolutely.
Email, send an email. They're telling you how they prefer to communicate.
Absolutely, yeah.
From the very first interaction.
Yeah.
How much does that response time and communication impact vacancy time?
I mean, there's so many studies they've done where if you respond to someone within 5 minutes, you're going to get pretty much all the leads, right? So those response times are going to be huge, especially when a lot of people aren't going to be looking at just one singular property. I'm going to click on, I'm interested on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different properties. So if you're responding to that person very quickly, whether it be yourself or something that's going to take them to the next step in the process, then okay, they're going to start moving forward and laser focus on your property. If you haven't responded to them in the day, okay, they're going to move on, right? Oh, there'll be so many times you don't respond and they're like, oh, I already found a property, because it's so quick. Everything goes so quickly.
Everything's quick.
Just move forward as quickly as possible with them and make sure that they can move as quickly as they would like to as well. You're meeting the client where they need to be.
And on the flip side of that, if they reach out and they're not responding right away, how do you handle that?
It's so easy for us nowadays to blast out an email or blast out a text, right? Just follow up. There's some times too where, okay, maybe someone reached out, but they're at work, or they might not get back to you right away. They might not even be able to take that call right away. Continually follow up. Usually there's different rules you can use. They follow up 5 times with them. Call, text, or an email. They don't respond at that point. Okay, maybe they accidentally clicked or whatever, right?
There are statistics that show 5 times is the rule. It usually takes a good 5 follow-up attempts to close a sale, and that's in any industry.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Just take the time with them. It's so easy to do it.
Okay. What about a strong and consistent screening process? What does that look like?
I mean, you want to be consistent with it, but also you want to be detailed with it. So have your process laid out and very clear because you want to hold everyone to the same exact standard. But in terms of keeping it strong, you want to make sure that you're verifying income documents and make sure that they both meet your criteria. Let's say it's 3 times the rent and income. But verifying with the employer too. So there's so much AI nowadays where I can go and say I work for this company and hey, ChatGPT, give me this, for this amount.
They pull it up right away, and we definitely have seen over the years a surge in fake documents. And it's so important to make sure we're verifying everything.
And
Absolutely
I'd
everything.
say that you want to make sure to have someone who actually knows the process and someone who's actually doing it, right? That way, those people who have seen these time and time again, day after day after day, can spot these different inconsistencies that maybe I might not know because I'm not looking at it from a daily basis.
And that's why we keep it consistent. We have one person in the office who is looking at every application, making sure we're staying in line with fair housing compliance and screening standards, but also looking at the details of that stuff. And, how easy is it for a potential tenant to list their friend as their landlord?
No, absolutely.
You've got to verify that name that's listed is actually the owner of that property.
Yeah, even if you're looking at from the income side of things too, if they say they work at X company, you can easily Google, like, okay, what's the number for this company? You put your friend's name instead of this, right?
Exactly.
Again, you want to be very detailed with it. It's a make or break. If you put in the wrong tenant, you're going to be in a tough spot.
You're going to be in a tough spot, and no one's making money because if the owner's not making money, BMG is not making money. So consistency is very important. We need good tenants in there. Want to grow your rental portfolio without the headaches? Bay Property Management Group can help. Scan the QR code or click the link below. Now let's get back to our episode. Sean, what do you think is one mindset shift that separates the average landlords from high-performing ones?
I'd say understanding it is a business and it's not personal, right? So being able to look at this from the standpoint of making sure to meet your tenants' needs and not take things personally. Some tenants may offer less than what you're asking for, or have a complaint or a concern of, oh, can you paint this wall? Can you do this little upgrade before I move in? Yeah, it's nothing personal.
Right. Agreed. And what factors should landlords consider beyond just market comps?
The size of the home is a big one. You have a 3-bedroom home, but maybe yours is 1,500 square feet and the others are 900 or vice versa. Looking at the level of upgrades in your property, you might have a property that's priced the same as the other 3 bedrooms in the area, but maybe yours doesn't have an upgraded kitchen, or maybe they have parking and you don't.
Yeah. And I know when we're talking about in the city, block by block, it's not always I have a 3-bedroom home in Canton. Where in Canton? It's a big area. Or even zip codes that cross major neighborhood boundaries into different areas where prices are drastically different.
Right, absolutely.
You can't just look at comps in this 21224 neighborhood. I have to look in that specific area of that zip code to really determine what that rental rate should look like. I think that's a big thing that a lot of landlords tend to overlook when they're looking at comps, like where in that zip code is your property. You can't look on the other side of the zip code. You need to be right there in the thick of it.
Especially in the city too, if you're talking about Baltimore City or DC or anything like that, we're looking like a half-mile radius. And there's so many properties regardless, so you could be able to find the comparables. But that small radius to show the properties on my street. Otterbine's much different than Federal Hill. Same zip code, but completely different market and different prices because of it.
I actually looked at a property this morning. I always get updates from Zillow still. And I pulled up a property and I was like, wow, that's a little pricey for that street because I know the street. It's a side street. It's a no parking street. It just happens to be a block of that street that has new construction on one side. So, if I'm an owner with a property on the other side or on a different block on that street, I have to be mindful that that's not a comp for me.
Right, absolutely.
And unfortunately, a lot of owners want to use that as a comp, and it kind of skews the averages a little bit. But you have to pay attention. It's one block.
It's why it's good to have a good representative for your property, so they can explain those comparables to you. Like, we have these other places, and here's the others in the area they might be talking about, but we have to look at and compare it to these properties, right? And this is why this is going to be comparable for us.
Right.
You don't want to price your property wrong. You don't want to look at it from this random website or on this site it shows that the average is this price, it's probably wrong. It's not pulling from the right data and the right
Correct.
factors.
I think that you are with me, and I think that you are probably a leasing agent assigned to one of these properties. Newer construction neighborhood,
Yeah.
21224 zip code. And the owner wanted us to refer to the property as Canton East.
Yes.
Do you remember those?
Yes, I do.
And in reality, it was Greektown.
Yeah.
Which is a nice area to live. Greektown's a great area,
Right.
but it's not Canton.
Yeah.
And it doesn't pull the same rents as Canton. But we're going to call this Canton East.
Right.
But we're not.
You don't want to waste your time with false marketing your property. Obviously, there's different scenarios why you shouldn't false market your property.
As soon as somebody pulls up, they're going to know that we're not in Canton anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You don't want to waste 2 weeks of like, why is my property not renting? Everyone comes and sees it. They don't like it because you're not in the area.
And they were great properties. They really were great properties. I actually lived in the neighborhood for a while.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a small little development. The community stays tight. It was great. However, it's not Canton. It doesn't have the walkability that Canton has.
Right.
It doesn't, everything's not like right on site. And easy to get to because you have the bridge to go over.
Sure.
All right. Now we're going to have some fun.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some rapid fire questions.
Sounds
Tell
good.
me what comes to mind.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's go. Rent high and sit vacant, or price right and lease fast?
I'll get it leased fast, price it low.
Got it. Credit score or income? What matters more?
Credit. Yeah.
Okay. 12-month lease or longer term? What's your go-to?
Ooh, it depends on the time of year, but I'd say longer term if you can get it at the good right time to kind of turn over. So if you have some property,
But how long is too long?
I want to extend it more than 2 years. So like a 16 or 18 month, right?
That was always my go-to in terms of like when people I want to sign a really long lease. Well, what if you're not a good tenant?
Sure, yeah.
And what if the market shifts drastically?
Absolutely.
What if the rents skyrocket in this area? I'm not doing what's best for my owner at that point. So I would never go more than 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay. Professional photos or quick iPhone pics? Does it really matter?
I think it does if you have professional photos. You have someone who has a good eye for it, right? You and I can take photos, but I'm not the best at taking photos. My wife can say that every single time.
I will agree. Professional photos are great.
Yeah.
However, to me, it's all about the person taking the photos and the eye for the photos. We always took photos with our iPhones.
Yeah.
I would edit the photos and upload them, and Alyssa would be, back in the office pushing it out right then and there. But I think it's like learning how to get in the corners and,
Yeah, you don't need this $10,000 camera. You can do it on your iPhone as long as you know how to do it.
As long as you know how to do it. Sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to get the right shot. Making sure you're opening curtains and turning on lights and closing cabinets and closet doors. Those are the important things about getting good photos.
Right.
To really maximize the space. Okay, off topic. Offer incentives or hold firm on price?
Yeah, offer incentives. Again, do what you need to get this property rented.
And do you prefer a reduced rental rate or an upfront discount?
I prefer a reduced rental rate. Kind of get it with the filters.
Renter's insurance required or leave it optional?
Always require it.
Always required. Absolutely. Allow pets for a larger pool or restrict for less risk?
Yeah, I'd say allow pets for a larger pool. We have so many people after the pandemic that got pets. Now
Even
everyone
before the pandemic. I mean, I think we were something at like 80% of renters have pets.
Sure, yeah.
You're limiting who even has the potential to rent your property if you don't allow pets.
And most often, too, a good tenant has a good pet.
All about the quality of the tenant.
Exactly.
Adjust the price quickly or give it time to perform?
Yeah, I'd say adjust it quickly in the sense of you can usually see up that first week, even that first weekend, if your property's priced right. No one reached out after that first weekend. All right, let's adjust here.
I always try to get properties on the market on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Because that is statistically when the most people are looking for rental properties. And if you don't have it priced right in those first 48 hours, you're losing tons of leads at that point.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely priced right from the beginning. Tell me the most uncomfortable situation you've ever been in when leasing properties.
Definitely the most uncomfortable is when someone tries to ask you out afterwards.
Oh, boy. I have not had that happen, but
I've been married this entire time, but you show the property and you think you did a great job. I'm like, oh, okay, great. You're doing your typical follow-up. Like, okay, I'm going to send you an application. All right, these are going to be next steps. And they're like, oh, by the way, I really enjoyed meeting with you today, but are you single? I'm like, oh, No.
No, no,
No.
I'm not. And this
Also,
is
we got to
so
keep this
inappropriate.
professional. Yes.
Even if I was single, I couldn't go out on a date with you.
Right, right, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a professional on this. So yeah, those are definitely the most awkward, and usually they didn't lead to anything else afterwards from a standpoint of a leasing opportunity.
Okay. How about any move-in horror stories?
Oh yeah, the worst one I ever had. I think it was one. You're
Of course, it was
a
Baltimore.
manager. Yeah,
I know it was Baltimore.
it was a good property though. It was one of those new developments. We arrived at the property, walk in, and the entire home is flooded. Like the
Great.
entire wall is all bubbled up. You can tell it's a pretty active leak. One of the upstairs bathrooms had flooded.
Fantastic.
So I'm like, oh man, they're screwed here. We're nothing we can do about this one. So I called you. Oh, what should we do? Be like, oh, well, they want to take possession. I'm like, yeah, we'll take possession. Sure, you guys will get it taken care of. All right, cool. But yes, you do so much coming up to it. You do your kind of move and walk through ahead of time. You make sure the place is clean. You make sure everything's good to go.
And then disaster strikes.
Right. Yeah. Most of the time it's good to go, but you can control when there's a flood that happened you didn't know about was going to happen.
Yeah. I think for me as a leasing manager, it was always the last minute lead certs.
Yeah,
so
sure.
you have,
Stressful.
you can't get the lead inspection until the cleaning's done, and something happened with the turnover that delayed the cleaning, which delayed the lead inspection. And then you're waiting for the lead cert to come through.
Yeah.
And you already know it passed, but you need that lead cert in hand to be able to move them in. And I have a leasing agent in the field saying, well, I haven't received the email with the lead cert yet, and I got notification yesterday that it passed, but they're here with their moving truck, and I can't move them in because legally we can't move them in without the lead cert. I have seen that situation so many times.
It's tough.
And it is so uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's why the communication's huge, right? Like making sure someone knows, hey, listen, we're not in the clear yet. Like, don't book this. Another big thing that I would have that always kind of be a tough situation would be, and I keep a very detailed tracker of all my move-ins of like, okay, we've got the lead cert. Yeah, we've gotten funds already. I've got the BG&E information, everything that we need, everything we keep track of to make sure these things go correctly. We're not moving in someone without the necessary items. But definitely the biggest thing would be a lot of tenants would wait and be like, oh, I'll give you the funds on move-in. Be very clear. And I tell them 10,000 times over, okay, I need it via this method. These are the exact amounts. You got to give it to me. Hey, send me a picture beforehand. Usually be good to go. Every once in a while, though, you'd have someone show up, and I would always purposely meet them outside the property because I want to have them come in and we have this awkward conversation. But you meet them outside. Okay, cool. Do you have the funds? Let me get us your receipt, and then we'll go on in. Oh, I forgot them. I thought I could give them to you next week. Nope. No, we can't. We can't.
You absolutely cannot give me the funds next week.
You can go get them today, or the people where on a Sunday and I want to go get them today, but the bank's closed. Yes, of course the bank's closed.
Of course
it's
the
a
bank
Sunday.
Is closed. It's a Sunday.
That's what I told you 2 weeks ago.
It's like thinking you can walk into Best Buy and get the biggest TV, and I'm going to come back next week and pay, but I'm going to take the TV with me today. It just doesn't work that way.
Biggest thing I'll tell any of the lease agents, people forget whether they mean to or not. Remind them again and again and again, and don't waste your time where, hey, can you send me a picture of those funds before we meet you at 10 o'clock when I got to drive 30 minutes to DC?
Those are just very important details for leasing agents to keep track of.
Yeah.
Making sure, don't take everybody at their word. Verify. Trust but verify, right?
Yeah. You have to be very selfish with your time, really. You have to understand that, I don't want to waste my time and drive an hour and then do this when nothing's going to happen and come from it. So, be very selfish of, okay, hey, we got everything good to go. Cool. We're going to go. But if you don't have what you need or you haven't confirmed you're showing, okay, we're not going to meet. I'm not going to waste my time. There's other things I can do.
Okay. We often show properties while they are still occupied.
Yeah, sure.
So that we can avoid vacancy periods for our owners.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing you've seen doing a showing in an occupied property?
Definitely people hiding. And what I mean by that is that on our leases, it'll be very clear, okay, we have these two people living in there and a couple kids, right? So I'm expecting, okay, there's going to be a couple people living in there. I remember when I pulled up and there was definitely people sitting outside in their car. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. People are sitting outside in their car. I'm taking the people through the property and trying to be very respectful of the current tenants. And then we go into the basement and there's people hiding under mattresses. And there's probably 5 or 6 different families living in this home because you can tell that there's mattresses at every place possible. So I was like, so we're not going to talk about this. We're going to do the show and we're going to leave out and then, talk to the resident manager afterwards. Like, hey, just a heads up, there's probably a lot more people here than we think.
And probably a lot more damage than we expect,
Yes,
too. So the
absolutely.
turnover is going to take longer. I've actually seen this several times in Baltimore, just doing an occupied inspection. I've seen whole families living in bedrooms.
Yeah, right.
Like it's like mom, dad, kids. They've got their own little fridge and microwave in there, and food storage. It's a very strange situation to encounter.
Yeah, and there's occupancy standards for a reason too.
Correct.
So, yeah.
It's for safety. It's for health. It's for general wear and tear on the property. So yeah, we definitely have to be mindful of those things. Do you have any good stories, like business development or leasing related?
I'd say like probably one of my best or most favorite ones in terms of leasing was probably my first. Everyone remembers their first, right? But
of course.
But I remember when I first got started leasing, like that first week was just all training. And maybe got my first property on that Friday. I don't remember exactly, but I remember that I was so excited coming in initially that I was looking at all these Facebook groups like, oh, who needs properties? I'm renting properties in Baltimore. I think it was the Wednesday night of my first week. I was on the phone with a guy for 2 hours hearing his sob story about like why I can't find a property. So I talked to him for a while. But there was another guy that I had that came about and he was like, oh, I'm actually looking for properties around the Mount Vernon area. Do you have anything of interest? I don't have any properties myself yet, but we have others that we could potentially get you into, like do a showing. So we did a showing Saturday of that week. Comes out, he's really nice, do my first showing. He's like, oh, cool, I'm going to apply. Gets applied, gets approved the same day. Starts moving forward. Cool.
Well, that's
got my first one on the first week. So I was feeling good about myself right at that point where it's like, okay, you got this.
You can do this. It definitely helps to have success early to boost your confidence. What do you do, or how do you direct your agents in handling situations where they're on a tour or they're on a phone with a potential tenant and the tenant asks them about the neighborhood?
In terms of neighborhood, you want to highlight the things that are in the area. And you don't want to look at it from the standpoint of this is a great area, this is not a great area, because you can't make that judgment.
Right.
You also don't want to steer someone in terms of, oh, this is the best area in the world, live here, because you can't say that.
And you don't know what their individual needs are.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Absolutely. But, highlight the features of the area, right? Like, okay, well, hey, there's, Trader Joe's right down the road and the metro stop is within walking distance and you're just a couple miles away from being on the highway. And we always focus on that in terms of our marketing descriptions as well. Like, oh, we're within areas to these parks, social centers, or how close is it to the metro?
How's the crime?
That's a good question in terms of how's the crime. I would always tell people do their own research in terms of crime. Some people might say that an area has a lot of crime when there's been one incident in the past 12 months, or say that, oh, it's pretty friendly when there's been multiple incidents in the past month.
Right. Always direct them to the crime statistic websites.
Exactly.
It's not for us to assess, the safety of a neighborhood or the quality of a neighborhood.
Right.
I think each individual really needs to look at an area and determine if it meets their needs. Does it meet your needs in terms of the home that's being offered, the accessibility to public transit, shopping, schools? You have to look at those schools on your own. And we never like to advertise schools because redistricting happens all the time.
For sure, yeah.
So we can't say what school your kids are going to go to in any particular neighborhood. That's up to you to kind of research that information.
Right. And that's part of having a good conversation with a prospective tenant is, hey, what are some things that you're looking for?
Right.
Whether you like the property or not, what are some things you're valuing? Like, oh, I want to value being in a walkable community with a lot of different restaurants. Okay, then this place will be perfect for you. It has those features. Or, oh, I'm looking for something with a big yard for my dog. Okay, this is a perfect place for you. Or, hey, I have this other place that might actually be better for you there.
Correct. That is the key. It's not, and when I was training new agents back in the day, it was always, these are your assigned properties, but know the inventory, not just your own, but the entire office's inventory. And if you're on the border with the Laurel office and the Baltimore office, know their inventory too. Because if someone says, this is what I'm looking for, and they inquire about a certain property, but then they tell you it doesn't really meet their needs, it's up to you to know the inventory to kind of say, hey, this actually doesn't have that feature, but I have a house that does. Are you interested in seeing that one as well? I mean, still let them see the property if that's what they want to do, but make sure that you know the property, you know the features of the property, you know what it has and what it doesn't have, and know the rest of your inventory so that you can help guide your client to finding the perfect home.
No, a couple of things I'd always do when I got a new property is I would go within the first couple of days and do a walkthrough, kind of learn it, look through the description, make sure I know like all the features we're talking about. And I do a video tour of the property too. That way, if I'm talking to someone, a couple things I could do with the video tour, and basically, it wasn't anything fancy, wasn't anything
Right.
crazy, just
Just
something
something
that I
you could
post on my
share.
YouTube. Yeah, exactly. You get so many people, especially in some of the areas that we are in here, where they're coming from out of state, especially in DC. You
A lot
have
of
different
transit.
exactly. Oh, I'm not even in the area yet, but I kind of see a video tour. Yeah, sure. 9 o'clock at night. Here you go. Here's a video tour. You check it out.
I don't have
Airport
to
tours
go
as
out and
well.
do it. I have one already.
Yeah, exactly. I just took it last week.
Being prepared.
So yeah, you want to make sure to kind of meet those needs. I always have the website pulled on my phone too, so that if I'm talking to someone during the show and they're like, actually, I'm looking for something a little bigger. Well, hey, let me look and check and see what we've got here. I can always pull something. Again, meet them and see if you can assist them. We've got so many properties we manage, and that's really just going to separate someone from being good to great. Is just take advantage of opportunities and really work what you need to work there.
And in a commission sales position, you wanna know what's available, so you can you're always prepared to make the sale and close the deal.
Exactly. I'm coming right out of college to work for the company, and that setup was someone's all right, cool. I can be flexible with my time and my abilities, make a lot of money, and be able to do that, and be able to work.
That position of the leasing agent, you don't have clock in and clock out schedule. And if you learn how to be efficient with your follow-up and your communication, you can really work that schedule to your advantage and be able to, tomorrow I'm playing golf with my friends, so
Exactly.
I'm not doing showings tomorrow, but I'm going to make sure all of my communication and follow-up are done so that I don't need to be available.
Right, exactly. And take advantage of opportunities when they come up. There's certainly some times where it's like, okay, cool, we've got someone who's approved and wants to move forward. Let's not wait. Let's get them right through the door. So being flexible and to be able to act quickly with what needs to be done.
Okay, Sean, we really appreciate you coming by today and talking to us about leasing strategies. We wish you continued success down there in the Laurel, DC office.
Thank you so much for having me.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Great. Owners, managing a rental portfolio takes time, strategy, and the right support, but you don't have to figure it out all alone. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe to Rent Ready Radio on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify so you never miss an episode. If you want more resources for rental property owners, check out the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.